You got everybody checked in? Yep. All right. Cecil, please start the recording. Good morning. I'm Stephen Datz, Chair of the Awards Committee. I'd like to call the October 13th, 2022 awards meeting to order. We have a physical quorum today represented by Joe Arfano, Laura Sheffis, Haibu, and myself. We also have Todd Skinner representing Ricky Erickson joining us online. The Office of General Counsel is represented by Rebecca Levy. Budget is represented by Stephanie Neely. Before we begin reviewing today's agenda, I'll note that there isn't anyone physically present for public comment. Cecil, did you receive any public comment via email?
No comments received.
All right, let the record show we did not receive any public comment. I'll pause for a moment to allow callers joining us online to unmute and speak up. Hearing no comments.
That's Paul Davis from JEA Bulk Power Operations.
Yes, sir. Do you have
I
something?
just want to identify myself. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Paul. We have items 1 through 14 that have been reviewed by Procurement and Budget. These items are now ready to be reviewed by the Awards Committee, beginning with item 1, representing the minutes from October 6, 2022 Awards Committee meeting. Are there any comments or corrections to be discussed? All right, may I get a motion to approve award item 1?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion from Laura Sheffis, a second from Joe Arfano. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Minutes are approved as presented. I'll pass it over to Jenny McCollum, our Chief Procurement Officer, to present each of the remaining items before I ask for a motion, beginning with item 2.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 2 is a renewal. This is for our state government relations consulting services. This is for our state of Florida legislative, regulatory, and executive branch policies and issues. Gray Robinson, PA, is our recommended awardee in the amount of $126,000. This is our first one-year renewal. We do have 2 renewal options. We are exercising the first one, so this will take us through October of 2023. I'll just note that in August of 2022, we determined it was in the best interest to expand the scope of work and add the federal government relations consulting services. And so this one-year renewal has both of those services, state and federal, included, and the monthly fee is $10,500 per month. Any questions, comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Hey, Jenny, I have a question. It's more on the admin side. And I know this was a while ago, but I saw that it was informally bid back in 2020. But the intent back then was also to have renewals with a contract. So if the intent back then was to have multi-year contracts that most likely would run over $300,000, I know it's just second guessing, but if we were to do it today, wouldn't we try to make that a formal award versus informal, even though the dollar amount was small originally, but the intent was to carry it through multiple years?
Sure. Hi, yes. The answer to that question is yes. Back in 2020, with new leadership coming in, we decided to do a shorter term to give us some time to get ramped up and see if that was something we still wanted to pursue with those optional renewals. But typically, yes, we would do a 3-year with 2 one-year renewals. But we wanted to give them some flexibility to get situated.
Oh, no, I was thinking if the intent was to award the firm more than $300,000 by the end of the contract, just go ahead and do it formally to begin with. But really a question for the future, not questioning what was done.
Yeah. Great comment. Great point. But yes, it is typically how we do that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions, comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 2?
So moved.
And a second?
Joe Orfano, second.
We have a motion from Laura Shepis, a second from Joe Arfano. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion is adopted. I'll pass it back over to Jenny to present award item 3.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 3 is a request for proposal. This is for our basic life, accidental death, voluntary life, standalone voluntary ADD and D, short-term disability, long-term disability, et cetera. This is to select one insurance company to offer eligibility to our employees and our retirees of JEA. The recommended awardee is Standard Insurance Company in the amount of $2,572,472. This is a 1-year award with 4 1-year renewal options. We had 6 proposals that were submitted. 3 of the companies were disqualified as they did not provide pricing for all the required services, or they did not meet the minimum qualifications. But we still ended up with 3 solid proposals that were submitted. And I won't read through all of the savings, but you can see kind of as in the background, the employees of JEA are seeing a savings, and those savings are locked in for 3 years. And then at the end of the 3-year term, the JEA HR broker, which is currently Gallagher, will negotiate the renewal rates for the remaining plan years that are in this contract term. So I'm going to pause there. Is there anyone from Gallagher that's on the call today? I know Carl's here.
Jenny, they're not. I'm actually going to step in, just kind of put a little more color to this. Yeah, as Jenny was talking, this is really a kind of a win-win given today's market pressures. You know, we're seeing it out there all over. And with even the kind of a somewhat soft market, we're still seeing the actual savings, one from the company standpoint, of about $135,000. And as Jenny was pointing out there too, is that we actually, for the involuntary coverages for the life and disability products, we're seeing a reduction in those areas, and which is very, very good to see, especially from an incumbent, which knows our history. But there's kind of a step back that we got to understand some of the items that we are benefiting from, especially when it filters down to the actual lead products, being short-term and long-term disability. You'll see the savings on the actual award. A lot of that is we didn't have the best of years, but I guess also they understand our pace. Our pace is we have a thorough leave management program that we make sure our employees are accounted for and try to get back to work as appropriately and safely. And also with our wellness program we have out there for our biometrics, physical activity and wellness centers. Those things add up to show, that, it's a perspective for the future risk. And we can't say that enough. When you have those products, that's what they're really kind of keying into. Plus also, obviously, you have your experience, which it was okay, but they're putting the, how you want to say it, favorable mark on JEA because of our leadership, our team, our company, and what we're trying to do for our employees.
Thanks, Carl.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions from the committee? Comments?
Hey, Jenny, I have a question. Ted, I know I'm not on the committee, but can I ask a question?
Of course.
Hey, Carl, how much of the $2.5 million, what was the total amount? Can you scroll back up, whoever's?
About 2.5 million.
So how much of that is for, the 2.57 million? How much of that is for voluntary products, and how much of that is for products that JEA is actually? Does that make sense?
Yes, Ted, just wait a second. Really, the lion's share is going to be voluntary, Ted. What you're looking at when you see the actual 2.8 we have from our actual basic, basic life insurance coverages, that's primarily our responsibility. And
Yep.
go ahead. With our basic life insurance coverages, we have 182,000, but let's call it 200,000. Then the rest goes towards the voluntary.
Okay. So this is a question for you, Jenny. So if JEA is not actually paying the cost of this, but the employees are paying the cost of this, does this really have to come through the awards committee?
So you're talking about the lower portion of that, since the part that we pay is lower than the threshold.
I'm
Is that where you're
just
going
curious. Yeah. So I mean, if these are all voluntary insurances that JEA just offers a payroll deduction plan to be a part of, is that something, since we're not spending any JEA dollars, is that something that would have to come to technically have to come to the awards committee? I'm just trying to get a point of reference.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. We've always, of course, don't have to always do it the same way we have in the past. But yes, if we feel like, same thing with, I guess with the Blue Cross Blue Shield, it is over the amount. But for the majority of that award, that is coming out of our self-insured policies, just like this. Like it's a, pass-through cost. So we like to bring it from a transparency perspective. We bid it out. This is the amount that they could be paid, whether it's us or JEA employees. So I think it's appropriate to bring, but we certainly can talk about it in the future. Or maybe we break it out if you want to see exactly, what JEA is paying versus the employees in the future, so we can have a good reference there.
And also, I guess, adding to what Jenny's saying, Ted, when you're in the field, it's kind of an optics. We make sure that the employees understand we got to have a close eye with this, and many eyes, make sure we're getting the best deal possible for them. And it's one of those things that when we get to field for open enrollment, we kind of walk through that pace. So it's kind of what goes back to the trust level that we all are making sure we're doing well for our employees from all levels instead of just being within. But again, it's just one of those things that I guess you want to say it's a soft point, but it's the optics point in the field that we always bring home with making sure that to get the best deal possible.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. And I just want to jump in here as well, because the costs that are associated with this agreement, yes, a lot of those costs are really passed through from the employees, but it's still a contract that JEA is entering into with this company, and based on the size of the contract and the scope of the services that are being provided, it is at a minimum, it is advisable to bring it to the awards committee. But I think that it really would fall under the required approvals, because it is, it's still a formal solicitation that's been done, and formal purchases of supplies and services as defined in our purchasing code, those still come to awards committee.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Any questions?
Do you scroll down
committee?
to the next page, page 27 on the awards statement? Okay, it's been corrected. Thank you. my version had a different number on the awards. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to pass it back to the chair if there's no other questions or comments.
Thank you. Good discussion. And again, I appreciate all the hard work that went into this. So it's nice to see that we're controlling costs because oftentimes we're looking at significant increases on supplies and services. So thank you to the team for that. May I get a motion to approve award item 3?
So moved.
And a second?
Haibu, second.
We have a motion from Laura Shepis, a second from Haibu. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion is adopted. I'll pass it back to Jenny to present award item 4.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 4 is an invitation for bid. This is for Lakeshore Water Treatment Plant Reservoir rehabilitation. We are rehabbing 2 ground storage water reservoirs. The treatment plant was originally constructed in 1950s, and so just for some background, those storage tanks have been degrading and are in need of the rehabilitation. So Petticoat Schmidt Civil Contractors, Inc. is our recommended awardee in the amount of $6,996,162.90. We are estimating this project to be completed in July of 2024. We received only 2 bids on this one. We had 6 contractors attend our mandatory pre-bid. We reached out to all the ones that didn't bid. One of the non-bidding firms is CGC Inc., and they chose not to bid due to their workload. We didn't hear back from the others, but we always do that just as a point of reference. When we receive less than 3, we're always reaching out to the others to see why they did not bid. And that gives us a point of reference if we need to extend or do something different before we open those bids that we did receive. So the award amount is approximately 73% higher, quite a bit higher. And looking at the engineer's estimate, which was done at the end of May of this year, so not too long ago, that's how we're making that comparison. And when they reviewed the workbook, we found that just, the lack of local construction companies, the workload of both of the bidders factored into the increased bid price, along with our current market conditions where we're seeing increases across the board. So I'm going to pause there, see if you guys have questions, comments.
Jenny, in respect to the 73% increase, can you or somebody speak to what we would be doing in 2023, 2024 to ensure that we're controlling those costs?
Yeah, I'm going to have the business answer that for you. Is there anyone on the call that can speak to that?
Jenny, this is Sean. So Stephen, to answer your question, we are continuing to, refine our processes and going back at each step to update our estimates as we go. We're seeing, unprecedented market conditions, and we know this one has really been driven by the available contractors that do this kind of work for us. So these size jobs are usually done by the local folks, and they're completely saturated. So this is really a result of what the market bears. So we're continuing to be surprised really at the bid prices we come in, because we are going back ahead of time and refining what we think it should be based on the engineer's estimate and adjustment for market conditions. So we're going to continue to do that, but occasionally we do get a surprise like this.
This is Peter Melendez. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
I want to add a little bit more. I had a conversation with the team to ensure we have good views into this. I want to get a better understanding longer term on the significant contingencies, right? What's the risk right? To understand that versus an updated estimate. What are the differences between the two? So the team is able to better project, have a better foresight of the potential of changing something that is outside of the budget the estimate based on contingencies versus actual change in market. That's an opportunity that the team has identified. We'll continue working on that longer term.
Very good. Yeah, I've just noticed in reviewing a lot of these awards, we're not getting a lot of responses due to competing priorities and just the capacity of companies being able to participate in the work. I'd really like to see some creative thought in how we can partner better with them so that they can forecast where we're going and when we're going to need them to engage with us so we can get more participation. So more of an exploration type effort, but it would be good if we could get a better alignment, especially with the local companies, and so they can anticipate what's coming as well and how they can contribute to these bids.
Duly noted.
Absolutely. Oh, sorry, Pedro. I'll note just for your reference, we typically do a water wastewater summit, very similar to the JSEB, where we show the next year's work, what we have coming, and then we regularly put the next 6 months of what we see bidding through all the different categories. We put that on our website so that people can get a look at what's coming for the next 6 months. And we update that quarterly because things do shift and change as, we proceed through the fiscal year. So we do have some of that, in process. I think the summit really does help, and we had postponed that the last couple of years. And I know we talked about putting that on again coming, in this next fiscal year. Just, waiting for Pedro to get on board and work with him and see what his thoughts were there. So there's some opportunities for us to partner for sure with water, wastewater, and the community.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions, comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
May I get a motion to approve award item 4?
Joe Orfano, so moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Joe Arpano, a second from Laura Shepis. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it over to Jenny to present award item 5.
Thank you. Through the chair, award item 5 is a contract increase and a partial ratification. This is for our Buckman Water Reclamation Facility biosolids dryer cleaning services. So industrial cleaning services that are more preventative in nature, as well as unplanned events such as clogs and outages, etc. Universal Services, Inc. is our recommended awardee in the amount of $234,056.36. We originally put this out as an informal single source. The specific requirements of the dryer at Buckman made it very difficult to find qualified vendors. At the time of the initial award, Universal Service had the equipment and the manpower locally to perform the ongoing cleaning and to do that in a timely manner, which is important when we have emergencies or outages. It's been a few years. There is new interest from companies, and so we are, putting this out to bid, and it is currently advertising and on the street so that we can see if we can increase competition. So that should open in a couple of weeks. This award is for us to ratify about $118,000 and then additionally get us through the next 4 months while we go through the bid process, make sure that we can find a qualified vendor with this new vendor base. and get a new contract in place to have a little bit of overlap to make sure that they aren't without services. I think it's important to also note that the spend has increased year over year due to the struvite buildup in the sludge lines. It's caused increased maintenance and need to prevent the equipment from failing. We also, in FY22, the spend increased further due to the dryer shutdown that we had in September of this year to upgrade to a new dryer. So those were driving some of the increases that we are seeing that we need to add to this contract while we bid it out. So you guys will see that bid come through as soon as we have it completed. Any questions or comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you. May I get a motion to approve award item 5? And a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Todd Skinner, a second from Laura Shepis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it over to Jenny to present award item 6.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 6 is an invitation for bid. This is for our Mandarin Water Reclamation Facility sludge holding tanks rehab. The interior and exterior concrete surface repairs for 2 existing holding tanks with aluminum dome covers. So the repairs will be made 1 tank at a time to ensure that the existing sludge handling operations are maintained. They're at about a 20-year mark of service life, and it's starting to show deterioration, which is why we are performing this work. Williams Industrial Services, LLC is our recommended awardee in the amount of $2,861,995.23. We expect this to be completed in February of 2024. Here is another one from the bidder's perspective. We only received 2 bids. The other potential bidders cited too much work as a reason for participating. So not only are we keeping these bidders very busy, other municipalities are keeping them busy as well. And if you look at the 2 bids that we received, I'll note they are quite different. And so the largest differences in costs were associated with the concrete repair unit costs. So Sawcross, who came in second, had a much higher unit cost in that area, which was the major contributor to the difference in the bid prices. But when we look at our budget and the award amount, it's approximately 2% above budget and deemed reasonable for this work. Any questions or comments?
Hey, this is high. Has the team reached out to Williams to make sure that they have the manpower, the resources to do the work? I know there's been some challenges.
Yeah, this is Mark Rupp. Yeah, I have talked to Williams, and they do have the resources, and they're ready to go.
All right, thank you, Mark.
Any other questions, comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 6?
Haivu, so moved.
Second?
Joe Arpano, second.
We have a motion from Haivu, a second from Joe Arpano. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion is adopted. I'll pass it over to Jenny to present award item 7.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 7 is a contract increase. This is for our water wastewater capital program management. This includes our Southside integrated piping system, our well field rehabilitation, and various other programs as needed to support our capital improvement program. Jacobs Engineering Group, Inc. is our recommended awardee in the amount of $9,238,061. Let me make sure that matches because I think there was an update. Is that the correct Mitch, is that the correct amount for Stephanie? I know you guys had a change last minute. I just want to make sure.
Right. Yes, ma'am. That is the correct amount. We just wanted to make sure, as far as the awarding to budget estimate piece, that was the budget estimate and not the budget of the actual projects. So that
Okay.
was our really only discussion point on it. But yes, that's
Okay.
the correct amount.
All right, perfect. Thank you. This is a 5-year award. We are still in the first 5 years of the initial term, so this will take us through June of 2024. Just as noted, you guys have seen this before. We come back every year once we identify the projects that need to be completed. We will authorize this work via task order. And so before we do that, we make sure there are enough funds to cover the increases. So this will cover us through the remainder of FY23. And there are 4 main projects listed. Any questions or comments?
Hey, this is Hy. Really the only comment is, I think, well, not too sure how to correct this, but I call it consistency in the task order titles, or because here you have the task order P7, Hovis Creek Chilled Water Distribution Expansion, nearly $4.8 million. That's the same project as before when you scroll up. And it has a totally different description. It's if you scroll up a little bit on the previous awards, the last CPA increase of $6.7 million, chilled water mains to Jaguar's performance facility. To anybody who's reading this, those are 2 separate projects. There's no relation, but as I understand it, I think that's the same project, is it not?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So that's my comment. We need to put in a record somehow that this is actually a $4-point-something million. It's the same project that's been awarded before.
We can make that update high to make it more consistent before we pass this to the awards chair to sign off on.
I blame it on the engineers. I don't blame it on the team. They should have known better.
Can I add one more
Any
thing?
other questions?
Jenny, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me
Sure.
okay?
I can.
I think I was double muted earlier. I was trying to say something. Real quickly, so I just want to give a heads up to the board, to the awards committee, that there was the change on the award was really due to one of the projects being pulled out from this capital increase request, and that is the Ponce de Leon replacement well. The reason it was pulled is because the project manager is still working on a trend to get the budget in line with their PUF and the cash flow in line with the budget. And unfortunately, we weren't able to get that in time to include that to this request. The point I'm trying to make here is, like you pointed out, Jenny, earlier, we usually just come to the board awards once a year, but because of this delay, I'll be coming back in the next couple of weeks for the Ponce de Leon. The reason I wasn't willing to wait is because of the chilled water plant is such a critical project, and it has a hard deadline of getting that completed before, I think, early spring of next year, in time for next football season, because part of it, obviously, it's for the Jaguar practice facility. So just a heads up that you'll see this award again pretty soon. So I didn't want you guys to say, wait a minute, we just approved this. So that's where that's coming from. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Thanks for the forewarning.
So is that, Oliver, is that project expected to be over $1 million?
Yes.
The one you're just talking about? Okay.
It's a new well. It's a replacement well. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, to Jenny's point, I think she was implying that if it's under 10% of the contract, you may be able to do it administratively, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where I was going. It's either 10% or up to $1 million. And this is quite a large contract, so it would be capped at $1 million. So you would
Gotcha.
have to come back if it's over that.
See you soon, Oliver.
All right, I'll pass it back to the chair.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 7?
Havu so moved.
And a second?
Joe Orfano, second.
We have a motion from Haivu, a second from Joe Orfano. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it over to Jenny to present award item 8.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 8 is a piggyback. This is for our stock furniture replacement project. We have furniture consoles that are at the end of the useful life and require the replacement. So this project is for the removal, area prep, and replacement of 3 of those operator consoles. Evans Consoles Incorporated is our recommended awardee in the amount of $320,535.83. We expect this to be completed in March of 2023. And we chose to piggyback. We've got better pricing from a piggyback perspective. The state of New York contracted with this company, and the state of Florida, through a participation addendum, adopted this contract. So we are using that as our basis of award. There were 2 other companies that we received quotes from as well with higher pricing. We always do a double check when we're piggybacking. If we are, kind of in a rush or don't have time to do those services or bid those out based off of timelines, we'll always do this check to see if we are getting the best price from our piggyback contract. And that is the case for this one. So just wanted to note that some due diligence was done as well. Any questions or comments?
Jenny, not that Nancy and team are looking for extra work, but with all the negotiations that took place with the headquarters and the furniture, were the 2 companies that responded, were they folks that we have dealt with as part of the headquarters, or were they separate?
So Rodney is on site. They're not the same. I think we were working with Purdue on a lot of our furniture. This might be kind of a specialty type item though, but I'll let Rodney jump in.
I don't know the answer to that is my response. I don't know if Evosite or Trusco participated in the headquarters furniture bid. I didn't process that one, but it is specialty furniture that they have. So.
Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering if they had that capability to provide it, and I know that there was a lot of effort put into negotiating good prices on that bulk furniture purchases.
I'm having looked at the office furniture for the tower a good bit, not as much as others and not as much as Nancy. I'm going to guess that there are, because of the specialized work that goes on at SOC, there are some height and depth and sound barrier type requirements that Purdue may not have been able to meet.
And
Hey, Stephen, this is Paul Davis.
Putting the addition in the package. Go ahead, Paul.
This is a specialized furniture for 24/7, 365 control center operations. Also incorporated this is the ability to raise and lower the workstations for ergonomic benefits for the system operators to prevent sitting while working for 12 straight hours, and ability to stand up and do their tasks as well.
Yeah, it was a good awareness for me because I was immediately thinking about our emergency operations center and network operations center. And we're going to be doing the same type of renovations, so we'll double check our budgets before moving forward.
So this is, just to remind everyone, this is not just for the equipment. This is a project to remove, prep the area, and also those 3 consoles. So part of that is work that is being performed as well to get
understood.
the area prepped. Yeah. Any other comments, questions? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you. May I get a motion to approve award item 8?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Laura Shepis, a second from Joe Arfano. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it over to Jenny to present award number item 9.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 9 is a change order. These are engineering services for the Park and King 4 kV substation. Worley Group, Inc. is our recommended awardee in the amount of $33,222. You can see that we already had a previous amendment of 36, which is why that is so low, because we already passed that this took us over that 10% mark. So the committee is seeing this, and we have seen delays in this project. They're listed. There's a few different listings as to why, but additional engineering hours were incurred due to a manhole relocation. We had additional surveying and geotech work that was required. And then there were a few project delays, some on our part, due to funding delays, but also permitting approvals. And then the project was suspended for 9 months due to equipment lead time issues with our transformer and switchgear supplier associated with the pandemic. So lots of different things have added to the delay of this project. So this should get us through from an engineering perspective. Any other questions, comments? If business wants to add anything, they may. All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you. May I get a motion to approve award item 9?
Highway, so moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Hai Vu, a second from Laura Shepis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it over to Jenny to present award item 10.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 10 is a contract renewal. This is for our fuel tank cleaning, treatment, and testing services. They perform cleaning, treatment with JEA provided chemicals, and then testing of all of our JEA tanks. Petroleum Recovery Services is a recommended awardee in the amount of $366,816.18. This is actually, the request is to utilize both one-year renewal options, so lock in our pricing through October 31st of 2024. The award amount is based off of the monthly average that we are projecting with the addition of 108 tanks that we are forecasting to be added during the 2-year term. So we will use the current rates that were during the first 3 years, and we're going to lock those in for the next 2. Any questions or comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
May I get a motion to approve award item 10?
Joe Arfano, so moved.
We have a motion from Joe Arfano, a second from Todd Skinner. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it over to Jenny to present award item 11.
Thank you. I meant to say this. I'm going to pause for a second. I meant to say this at the very beginning. This is such a large agenda that if yours has already been approved, you can stay on and listen to the rest of the meeting, but you can also drop off, and I apologize I didn't say that sooner, but we still do have 4 awards left, so you can hop off if you need to. So back to the agenda, award number 11 is a contract increase. This is for our facilities landscaping maintenance, and this is sheltered for our JSEB market. So this is for the landscaping maintenance and the chemical spraying for all JEA facilities. Eagle Lawn Care of Northeast Florida, Inc. is our recommended awardee in the amount of $143,928.41. This goes through March of 2023. We completed the first one-year renewal administratively to extend through, that first renewal term of March of 2023. When we had processed that, they had agreed to the same rates, and we thought we would have enough funds to get us through the end of the term. However, in July of 2022, the JSEB company requested a rate increase due to increased costs, primarily for fuel and labor, which is what we're seeing, across the board in a lot of our services contracts. So JEA agreed to a 7% increase based off of CPI. So we utilized the CPI index to support what they were requesting. And so the contract increase is being requested at this time to support that increase through the end of the fiscal year. Or not the end of the fiscal year, contract term, excuse me. Any questions, comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 11?
Highway, so moved.
And a second?
Joe Orfano, second.
We have a motion from Hai Vu, a second from Joe Orfano. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion is adopted. I'll pass it over to Jenny to present award item 12.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 12 is an invitation for bid. This is for our Brandy Branch Generating Station Unit 2 and 3 feedwater heater replacement project. TEIC Construction Services, Inc. is our recommended awardee in the amount of $2,989,482. We expect this to be completed in April of 2023. We received 3 bids, and the award amount, which includes a 10% SWA, is approximately 43% lower than our budget estimate. There was some conversation, Rodney might be able to chime in on why it was so much lower. I think there was, well, I'll let Rodney explain it if you want to jump in, Rodney.
So when they wrote the project, they just had some additional contingencies in the project. Last time they used the budget, and that budget had included equipment supply. This time equipment was purchased separately. So if you take that off, then there's a significant amount of money that comes out of the actual budget estimate.
So when you do that, what was the comparison once you take the equipment off of the budget?
So I'd have to ask the business to speak to that part of it. So they would have been, they wouldn't have had enough funds if they had removed that equipment contingency from the original budget estimate. They would have been short. They would have had to add funds to it.
Anyone from the business able to answer Hai's question?
Yeah, so if you scroll up to the budget estimate.
Yes, hi, this is Jamila Crane. So basically what Rodney is saying is that our cost estimate included a significant, considerable amount for the market adjustment, and it also, our cost estimate was based initially. This project has not been done. These are the original tubes that were put in place in 2004. So we did not have a a good cost estimate basis, we used another project, and in that project, the material and the services to install were all combined in one turnkey. And that's where the cost estimate was based on. When we were ready to do this project was actually written up so that because of the time that we needed to get it ready for the spring outages, we had to separate buying the tubes from the services to do the installation, and therefore the cost estimate was substantially less compared to the bids that we received to make up for the differences in the material versus the services to install separately. Does that answer your question, Hai, or do you need more details?
Well, I guess looking for an apple-to-apple comparison if we actually know.
Yeah.
The actual difference between our numbers versus the bid numbers, because it wasn't a lot of explanation in the write-up here.
Sure. Okay, so our estimate that we gave to Rodney without the SWA was about 5.4. Our bid, the low bid, was 2.9, and if we remove the market adjustments and the material, our cost estimate would have been around 3.7, just for the services. So 3.7 would have been our cost estimate versus our bids that we received at 2.9. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
All right.
So would it make a little bit more sense that from the committee perspective for us to put that 3.7 number from a budget estimate from an apples to apples comparison on this award to make it a little bit more clear?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. We will do it. Thank you, Jamila. That's very helpful. Thanks. Any other questions or comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve Award 12 with amendments?
I believe so moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Hai Vu, a second from Laura Shepis. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion is adopted. I'll pass it over to Jenny to present award item 13.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 13 was an invitation for bid, and this is actually for the sale of our rail cars that we have that we went through investment recovery. So the Progress Rail Services Corp is our recommended awardee, and the sale amount is $2,451,400. We hope to have this transaction completed in February of 2023. We went to the market and had a pre-bid meeting, and we had 2 companies attend, and we did receive 2 bids from those 2 companies. The bids were evaluated based on the net yield of each lot, factoring in the sale amount and the cost to move the cars to the bidder's location of choice. So each lot contained about 103 cars, and this recommended awardee plans to sell 1 lot for reuse, and then the other lot is going to be for scrap. And so the price of the lot to be scrapped reflects the prices of the metals on the day of the bid, which was submitted, and may change based on, the price of the metals market. We have a surplus sales agreement that will allow for price adjustments to happen on commodity prices every 30 days. So this may change a little bit, but this is the best information we have from the time they submitted the bid. I'll note that investment recovery had estimated the sale to be about $1.9 million, but that was based solely on the scrap value. But the recommended awardee, again, was able to find a buyer for 1 of the lots looking to reuse the rail cars. So it increased our expected sale from $9,500 up to $13,500 per car. So this is a great outcome, and I will let anyone who wants to add to jump in.
It's Joe. Progress Rail is a former affiliate of Progress Energy and Florida Progress, and they are now owned by Caterpillar. So it's a reputable buyer as well.
I wonder.
Based in Albertville, Alabama, for Ted's benefit.
I did some reading on that last night. I was like, wow.
Yeah, very good, Stephen. I'm impressed. I had personal knowledge of that.
No comment. No comment from Ted.
All right. I appreciate the extra information, Joe. Thank you. I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 13?
Joe Orfano, so moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion from Joe Orfano, a second from Laura Shepis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion is adopted. I'll pass it over to Jenny to present our final award item for today.
Thank you through the chair. Award number 14. I know Paul has been waiting patiently for this. Is a renewal for our industrial performance program services. So the goal of this program is to provide an added value service to our employees to support safety and wellness initiatives. They are to be utilized to help prevent any type of future injuries, pre-existing, provide employees a tool for safety enhancement, in addition to providing occupational and at-home education. So I think we've had great success with Unified Health Services, which is our recommended awardee, and the award amount is $135,000. So this will take us through our last one-year renewal option. And there's a note that contract provides services at a monthly rate at Southside Service Center, Westside Service Center, Pearl Street, Northside, Ridenhour. It's about $10,800 a month, but we also have an optional agilities testing service and ergonomics assessment of about $5,000 in there as well. So our rates have remained the same for the last 4 years and will continue for this last year. So 5 years of the same rate is a great outcome here. Do you want to add anything, Paul, since you waited this long to have your award presented?
Well, given it was a last minute ad, just thank you to you and your team for getting it, and everybody else for getting it on the agenda. The actual fifth location is at Mandarin at this time, not Ridenhour. But yeah, it's been a great program, and we'll be looking forward to getting it rebid out next year or this fiscal year. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. We'll make that update to the award to change out Ridenhour to Mandarin. Any questions, comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 14?
So moved. So moved.
And second, okay, Todd, I heard you. We have a motion from Laura Shepis, a second from Todd Skinner. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion is adopted. The entire agenda representing items 1 through 14 is approved for October 13th, 2022. Is there any other business to come before the awards committee at this time? Going once, going twice. Seeing none, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Did we have a bump?